Hello. Yeah, can you first share me your concept in WhatsApp? In WhatsApp. Yeah, just type the concept in WhatsApp or copy paste some from somewhere and put it on the WhatsApp and give me 5 minutes to work on it before we start discussing. All right.
Yes, good evening, Bernard. Hope you can hear me properly.
Yes, good evening to you too, and thank
Yeah,
you for making time.
yeah, no problem. It's my life, and I love you all because
Mm.
I'm dedicated to what I'm doing. Because of you people, you give me opportunities to work on. Hope I am clear to you.
Yes, yes, you are.
First of all, I thank you for that initiative
Mm.
because our life becomes good uh, when we move with our aspirations.
Mm.
And I really appreciate because these are the stepping stones that makes our life better, isn't it?
Mm.
So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to share my screen.
Mm.
And when I share my screen, you will know what we are going to do. Okay.
Okay.
Hope you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at your title from
Mm.
constraints to catalyst, maximizing business potential through compliance synergy in financial institutions and fintech. This is what you have done. So
Mm.
this is your title. Yeah, I'm just increasing the size.
Okay.
So what I understand that this helps us to know because just correct me if I'm going wrong because this is my thought process.
Mm.
Now I'm doing a business, and there are many financial institutions such as bankings and other business and
Mm.
banking establishments that is going to help me to give me funding and how I can grow the business.
Mm.
Now, if you look at this title, because as you know, when you do a research, I call this as a micro research or it can go as a macro research.
Mm.
But what I understand in this one is, we have to confine ourselves to skew to a certain type of business in a certain space or certain area. That is more
Mm.
important because now it's very wide. So we don't know where we are doing this study and what kind of business we are going to use. So I suggest that everything I understand, and if possible, we can identify one or two constraints. And anyway, we have some catalyst. That is how finance is pumped into your business.
Mm.
That is going to improve your business, and you're going to get a synergy in business. Because if you look at any business, to run the business, there is a pivotal role for planning, and there is a pivotal role for financial planning. So if you
Mm.
call it, it can be called as in operational planning as well as in financial planning. So that is more important. So we focus more on financial planning, and the business needs financial input because to start a business, you need financial input. Now, as an
Mm.
entrepreneur, the entrepreneur can have his own contributions to the business, but we always have to make sure that when you are working with an enterprise, you have to separate yourself from personal to business because business is a separate entity and personal things are a separate entity. So you as a person, you're going to invest in business. Now,
Mm.
sometimes your investments will not be alone substitute or will not be enough to run your business. So, so you need some energy and you have to maximize the business. If you're running a supermarket, so that is why we have to see the context. We have to
Mm.
make the context. Suppose now I'm explaining this with the example of a supermarket in Kampala town. So if you take the Kampala, we have many regions like Lukogo is one region. And there are many other regions. Kololo can be another region where you can, the rich people you can focus on Naguru, where you have mix and match of people. So when you done a supermarket, you have to think of the size of the supermarket, the amount of stock what you're going to put, and the type of customers you are targeting. So based on that, you need stock. Before making the stock, you need an infrastructure where your things has to be displayed. Apart from that, once everything is set, your business has to be promoted. You need marketing. You need people to work with you. It depends upon the size of the store what you're planning. So when you call as a supermarket, it is very wide. When you talk about a provisional store, the amount of investment is less, isn't it? So now I understand how you can maximize the business potential. What is business potential in the case of the supermarket? Now you can use this analogy in any kind of business. Okay, if it can be a hotel or anything like any education institution, let it be anything. So the amount of investment depends upon your target customer and the quantum of service what you're going to provide and your expected volume of business. Now, if you want to add variety of things to a supermarket, if you take a supermarket like Carrefour, they have billions of amount of stock, and it composes of perishables, non-perishables, electronic items, beverages, many things. So, the quantum of money involved and the people which you need to operate and other operational charges like energy, rent, everything is much, much more. So this case, a business owner or the one who is going to be an entrepreneur, he needs a synergy, financial synergy through fintechs and financial institutions. There are two categories here. This becomes a wide research because you talk about financial institutions such as banks, and you talk about fintechs in which you are going to help you in crowdfunding, isn't it? So you have to tell me if I go wrong. This is my understanding. So, so I suggest in this title, you can fix either a financial institution or a fintech, because if you match more, if you add both, your scope of research gets widens. And when we have a wide horizon, what will happen? The quantum of energy you have to put for your research will be very wide. So try to skew down, since it is going to be research article publication, try to skew down to certain constraints, fix the constraints. The constraints can be either you can use the options of financial flow from a banking institution or a fintech, either for developing infrastructure or gaining your stock or promoting your business, or you can use certain part by part of the amount what you expect from the financial institution or fintech to be invested in the different areas of your business. Hope it is clear for you.
Yes.
So this means that, one second, I'm coming to that. This means that we have to redefine our title. Yes, please. Questions, please.
Yes, I understand and appreciate what you're saying, and and I agree, because when you explain it that way, I understand that the scope will be big, and yes, which I agree, and I think we may have to tweak the title, probably a bank, because even at the end of the day, even the fintechs, if they read the paper, they will understand the message to their needs. So for the sake of being specific, I agree with you. We can change the title so that is specific.
Yeah, because if you look at a research, like we name a person, the research title itself explains. The research title explains. One second, let me remove my headset. My sound is pale. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So the research title itself explains what you're going to do in that. So like if you say a degree, Bachelor of Science in Networking and Cyber Security, it clearly explains what the student has done. It is a bachelor's degree, so we know it can be either for 3 years or 4 years. Then it will say that Bachelor of Science in Networking, the student will have the knowledge of basic networking to some extent of advanced networking to connect computers. Then the student knows networking, then the student knows how to work on cyber security. So cyber security encompasses cyber forensics and other related things. Similarly, your title should be skewed and it should be self-explanatory for the reader that what you are going to explore. So we are going to explore the constraints. So how we will manage the regulatory compliance as well? Because if I take a fund from a financial institution, I have to be in compliance with the regulations, isn't it? Depending upon the region, depending upon the country, isn't it? Because I cannot just take money from a bank, isn't it? And so there are many regulations and there are many constraints. So all these things, if you take all these constraints, like, there is a constraint for me to invest because I need my own fundings. Apart from that, I need a good project plan that also needs an investment. Maybe I can do by myself. Apart from that, I need stocks, I need infrastructure, I need to promote my business, I need to equip and engage people who are going to run my business. And if I am a full-time worker to my business, I also should get a salary. And after all, from all these things, you should get a profit after your monthly disinvestment. What is that monthly disinvestment? Because you got some investment from a financial institution, and what they have invested on you as a bank loan, you have to disinvest, isn't it? Otherwise, the stakeholder will be your financial institution. So I'm just telling my concepts. So now we are very clear what we are going to do. I hope you understand what is the significance of the title, and
Yes,
I know you'll be very good in you'll understand how to redefine it. So you can make a number of titles. From that, you can choose one appropriate title that will give scope as well as horizon for your study. The second thing, now, how to work on this research? Now, basically, you have a research question with you. The questions are, it's a thought process. It's an inquiry, not an inquiry. So when it becomes an inquiry, it is a learning scholastic process. You are trying to immerse in this scenario, and you assume that you are going to start a business, or you may be in a business, which I don't know. So in that, you have number of questions, how these financial institutions can help me. And when they help me, what synergy I'll get. But when I mix and match the synergy, I have to be in compliance with either the different kinds of constraints. One is that for the financial support, what I'm receiving, I have to pay back. Not only the principal amount, apart from that, I have to pay back the interest as well. And there will be a structured payment pattern for this one, isn't it? So there are many things. Apart from that, I have to make my business to run, and I have to make a profit because I can repay only if I get financial gains from my business. So I have to improvise my business. I have to promote my business. I should have more business. The quantum of business and the quantity of sales, what you need, depends upon the synergy or the amount what you've taken from the bank and the amount what you have invested from your hand. So you have to get return investment on both sides. You have to pay the principal amount. You should get the payback for your own self-investment, as well as you have to repay the interest of the amount what you have accrued from a financial supporting institution. On top of that, you have to manage your operations. And there will be a stock in which we can call as a dead stock. Until you don't sell to a customer, that remains in your shelf, isn't it? You cannot make an empty stock or empty racks in the supermarket. Just because the reason, if you maintain that empty racks and somebody comes, then only I'm going to give you a tin of mushroom. It will not work. You cannot have a chemistry process like in situ, which means that whenever there is a requirement, you take a stock and sell. It cannot happen. So, there are many constraints in front of a business entrepreneur, depending upon the type of business. Suppose you are running a hospital. If you want to establish a hospital, many categories, you can have a small hospital, you can have a medium-sized hospital, you can go for a super specialty hospital. Hospital needs infrastructure, hospital needs equipments. Apart from that, your hospital needs medical professionals. And this maintaining medical professionals is too costly. Because as you begin the business, till you reach the break-even point, you are pumping from your hand. And these medical professionals, if they are more competitive, only more clients will come to your place, because people feel that if I go to that hospital X, they have good doctors, they have good surgical facilities, they have good diagnostic facilities, isn't it? So these all encompasses your business. So it depends upon the type of business. That is why I'm telling the title has to be very specific, because depending upon the title, everything keeps on changing, isn't it? So that is the first part of the title. So you have to revisit your title and you have to be very specific. It's not what we do in wide. No need for an excitation or an excitement when we come with the research. Let's start in small areas. Then as we acquire knowledge and when we stabilize ourselves to become a good researcher, we can escalate. We can scale up to the next level, isn't it? So I hope the significance of the title is clear for you. But one thing I'll tell you, when you choose a research topic, I believe you are in this business. You have some capabilities of business and you have some experience in business and you know how this banking and fintech enterprises help to support business, isn't it? And you have some knowledge about regulatory frameworks and the constraint that happens with businessmen, both from the regulators, because you have to pay the taxes as well. Because we know in many places, many businesses have stopped. We have many experience in front of us because those big businesses fail to comply with the tax and regulatory others, they have to stop. They all wiped on one day, isn't it? So they come like Halley's Comet, come quickly, then they will dispose of you. So no business can withstand without complying to all the levels. You cannot keep anything that goes with post expiry. You cannot keep anything. Let it be anything. You cannot keep anything without post expiry also. So I hope you are clear with that. So constraints you have mentioned, which all constraints. Now I'm going to show you the step by step. So this is what I'm telling, understanding the context. So you have to talk about, you have to think about the regulatory landscape. Because, you know, if you want to get some amount from the bank, you cannot just go and make it, isn't it? It needs many compliances because the amount what you take, the banks also needs a guarantee. Then they should make sure that you have the capacity to repay. Then if you register yourself as a company, your company's balance sheets has to be shown. That shows that this company has a capacity. Otherwise, you have to start as a very small business. On gradual process, as your business scale up, then you will have, you will have your all profit and loss account, your balance sheets, and it can show what is your net profit before taxation and after taxation. So as you grow up, then you have, you have a background behind you so that some investor as a banker, banking institution can, really trust you that, okay, this man, Bernard is doing a business or his business is good to invest in. Otherwise, they don't want to kill themselves because they don't need any non-performing assets. For financial institutions, what they invest in you, it has to perform. What is their performance? You repay in time and they get their interest, isn't it? So, and as business grows up, you again take money from them, again you pump into your business and you are making money. Actually, you are a pump, you are a pump, you are a business pump, you are a money pump because they put some money, you do hard work and you pump money back to them, isn't it? So we have to understand the constraints also because this is a vague one what I have made because we know this time I talked about the costs. That is one part. Then regulatory complexity, because complying to tax and other things, licensing, legal risk, and other constraints and product development or market expansion. This is what I told us because when you come into business, there may be existing businesses. So you have to compete with this business or you have to choose an area which these people will not compete with you. Then we have to make your project plans and everything. So you have to identify the constraints. Now, what is a catalyst? In business, what is a catalyst? A business performance. Brand is an important factor that catalyzes you. Branding is an important factor because if you are not able to brand your business, how a brand comes? A brand does not comes on a daylight. It needs time. A brand comes on quality of the service what you provide, the quality of the products what you have, the tangible and the intangible benefits pursued by your consumers, the word of mouth that's spread by your consumers. So these all builds up a brand. Some people think that brand is something if you have a good logo, good picture, that makes a brand because they all see brands like Adidas, they see sporting brands like Puma, they see supermarket brands like Carrefour. And you have many brands in front, like Microsoft, that window band, or if you take Google, that multicolored logo, or the Facebook, the F in blue color. No, all these things doesn't come on one day. They struggled a lot, and it took a lot of time for them to establish their brand. But a business has to ensure, as you begin the logo to the service, you have to ensure you are going to hold a big brand and hold a big brand value. Even it is small thing, your brand is important. So brand has two things in the customer. One thing, it should always come in the mind. I always remember the Puma logo, isn't it? I always remember the Adidas logo just because, I'm seeing it again and again, again and again, again and again. But remember, if these products are very bad, still I remember that brand. Very wasting, so bad. So brands have good reputation and bad reputation. But that is why logo, color, designs are very important. But on the other side, more important is how the customers perceives about your product, how the customers understand your product, and about your service and post service also, in support service also. See, these were all very important when you explore the catalyst. So what we are going to do, if you have good investment, it will increase your efficiency of your business, isn't it? But you have to make it everything optimum, because when you pour more money, just imagine you have a pot of plant at your home. Maybe the plant needs little water at the beginning. As it grows up, it needs more water. But you just imagine you have a lot of water at home, and if you add more water, what is going to happen? All the water will ooze out. This is the same principle when you add finance or when you add investment in the business. You cannot add surplus investments. When you add surplus investments, nothing will happen. That extra investment will just flow off, and you will not able to gain it because it is drying off. So you have to ensure you catalyze your business only with the required funding. So you need a good financial planning. So that improves to drive your efficiency. See, so that is also an important factor. Okay, now, so I hope you are getting me. I hope you are getting.
Yes.
So these all points are key points, or key words which you have to work again and again. So since it is a recorded session, I will send this as a YouTube video. So it will be good for you to revisit this video and you can study on this. Now look at research compliance synergy. Here, what we are going to do, we are going to explore what is the synergy for business. Synergy for business is a competitive advantage. Just I'll tell you why you approach me. You have many people, isn't it? You know many people, but why did you approach me? Maybe you know me early. You are one among my persons, known person. But more than that, when you ask me what I told you, yes, I am ready, isn't it? No,
Yes.
I created a synergy in you that gives you trust. Similarly, if you are running a business and if your customer has a small tinge of trick to do something with you, yes, you are ready for it. But you cannot satisfy all the customer needs. So we have to look into strategic alignment. What is strategic alignment? You have to see which all areas you are going to work. If you ask me, I want to do research in medical science on cardiology and cardiac rhythms, I said, I can't do it because I'm not an expert in it. We have to confine ourselves what efforts we are going to do. So you have to make sure which all areas you are going to focus on. What kind of synergy you are expecting, isn't it? Is to boost how, what, when. That we call as a financial plan. So if you look at businesses, how we can understand this one, you can take a particular business or one or two, three businesses, and you can go to them and check with them. You as an entrepreneur, how did you utilize that one? This gives us information. When we get information, then only you can move on with it to make it as a result. Similarly, you have to go to banks and financial institutions or fintechs, and you have to take typical how you have invested in business and what synergy got from that business to you. Did they maintain the protocol of disinvestment? Did they maintain the protocol of paying you back? Isn't it? So we have different entities from which you are going to get the data. The people use the facility, the people give the facility, And apart from that, such businesses, we have a lot of customers. So from what is the perception of the customers on such businesses? Sometimes when we go to business, we can see a drained place, a dry place. The staff don't have energy and the racks are empty, isn't it? You can see such kind of stores, but you go to a small shop, it is full, but cheaper things. But when you get in, hi, how are you? How can I help you? Tuck, 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 they will help you. And they know you by name, they talk to you. And so this makes you, even it is a small shop, you go and buy. So we have to see how this banking people's donation. It's not a donation, the banking people's investment. I call it as an investment. When you take a loan, it is an investment, a second party investment, how it is going to improvise and create synergy for your business. Now, we have to understand, we have to analyze the business potential. This is also part of the research. Because either what are the potential benefits we are getting because of these people? What are the potential benefits we are getting? How we are going to improve our operational efficiency. Now, I'll tell you, you might have seen many medical stores in our city, pharmacies, but some places we prefer to go just because either they have a good stock of things, maybe their prices are better, and if you have good money, some places you go. I've been to one pharmacy near Mulago Hospital. When you step in, the machine vends your ticket. So you sit there. I don't want to specifically say what pharmacy is this one. And they will call you, they will serve you to your counter, and everything will be done. And if you're buying some specific device or certain medicines, they will take you to another small room where they will consult us and tell how to operate, how to use it. Do you feel it is good? And then their place is air conditioned, isn't it? So just to do such business, you need in-house experts. You need a good infrastructure. You have to establish air conditioning, and such kind of people who are ready to put more money for your service. Of course, you have to charge more. You need a good parking facility. You have to create a good brand. And if possible, if you work 24/7, that's good, isn't it? Your business become good, good, good. So, if you have money of your own, if you don't have money of your own, someone should be ready to invest in you. And enhance the risk management. What is that one? See, business always involves risk. You have to make your own insurance. Then there are times your business may go down. So how you escalate such loss of business? Because you assume I need this much business in each time period. So you have to promote more, so you have to invest more. Suppose if you want to give an advertisement in a TV channel, it's cost you. In social media, it will cost you. So if you want to keep hoardings, it will cost you. So how do you manage the risk of losing business? How do you manage that you always have a sustainable business? And how you maintain, increase the market credibility? That is also a key point. See, what is a market credibility? Because in the market is related to customer. If there is no customer, there is no market. Either it is a B2 business or it is a business to customer. If there is no customer, there is no market. So what is the credibility of a business to the customer? That is more important. What is the credibility? The credibility factors: maintaining quality, expecting service standards, how you interact with your customer relationship, and fair price. Because even rich people, they are also concerned about price. Suppose I can buy a Porsche car, I have $10 million. Maybe I own billions of dollars with me. But since I have billions of dollars with me, I don't want to pay for a Porsche car double the price, isn't it? Because however rich I am concerned about my investment. This all comes a part of market credibility. But we cannot put everything in the research. So we have to take 1 or 2 points of market credibility. Then customer base, expanded customer base. See, depending upon the target customer, because when you do a business, you have to target, you have to put your target market, and you have to do the market segmentation. What kind of people you are going to serve? What kind of people you are going to expect to come to your business? So how you are going to get your revenue streams? So what I'm trying to tell you here, these are the different variables. They are interrelated with this financial field. So if you look at this research, the business performance depends upon many factors, but we are trying to focus if somebody pumps money through a banking institution and through fintech, how I'm going to get a business performance. So the input through the banking institutions or fintechs going to catalyze my business. So the business performance is a dependent variable, and the financial investment by a third party is an independent variable. Are we together? But there are
Yes.
many intervening variables, because these are the other intervening variables. Because if I have a lot of money given by a bank and I have a business, but if I don't properly manage my intervening variables like customer relationship, my infrastructure facilities, the product category I have, the product quality I have, my price, the work with competition and gunning from other competitors in the similar business. So all these things I have to consider. So if you look at this one, you can see even regulatory is also an important fact. Tax, important fact. No, if you employ staff, you have to pay them the regulatory compensations. You have to pay them social security funds, isn't it? You have to provide them other facilities. If you employ women, you have to provide them maternity benefits. Don't think of a crap business. You think of a proper business. That is why we are doing business. So we have to make sure how this will have an impact on the revenue growth, profitability. So this is what we are going to analyze. So we have some dependent and independent variables, and we are going to analyze certain things, isn't it? If your profitability increase, somebody invest on you, your market share can be widened. You can have diverse product categories when you have more financial funds. So these are the how the revenue increases. These are the performance indicators. So we have many things. Performance indicators are also dependent variables based on growth, profitability, market share. These are also depending upon how much money you invest on business in a proper strategic way, with a proper financial plan and business plan. Now, when you have all these things, your business will work only when you have proper business practices. What is proper business practices? Delivering your customer in appropriate way as per the customer expectation. If you can go an extra mile, and it makes a sense. People will come to you, like some pharmacies here, I just WhatsApp my prescription. I get it at my home. You know, if I hire a car, if I am sick, if I hire another taxi to go to the pharmacy, get it back, I may have to spend more. And I am happy to give the carrier, the courier person, some amount of tips because I'm happy. I'm sick and I'm getting medicine. You don't buy medicines when you are in your night party, isn't it? Unless until you have a cardiac arrest or you want to manage your headache. But you are in a bad situation. That time, if somebody is providing you things at your hand, you love it, isn't it? So these are the best practices. So these all give synergy for a business. So you have to analyze. So this is what is the purpose of best practices? Maximizing business, isn't it? It is for maximize business. So these we have to identify. Along with this one, somebody pumps money to you and you have a business. But if you want to critically analyze whether this catalyzes your business, it depends upon how the best practices I identified my business. That is why some businesses fail, isn't it? They have taken money from a lot of people, but the business don't grow up just because they have good facilities, just because they don't have the best practices. So this is also important. So these all factors we have to study in our research. So when you study all these things, based on your research, you can give recommendations. What is that one? We can give recommendations to business people. We can give recommendation to financial institutions, because the aim of both is maximizing profit. When me as a financial institution, when I invest on you, what is my aim? I'm getting interest for the money invested on you along with the amount what I given to you. So I'm increasing my profit. And you as a businessman, with the money what I have given to you, you are improving your business and you're improving your revenue. And definitely you are going to get good amount of profit. So there is a strategic alignment and there is a culture compliance. So all these factors foster a culture of compliance. So I think this research is very wide, isn't it?
I agree. I agree.
This is very wide, like a PhD research. So we have to leverage it down to small. We have to specify. But all these points has to come, but we choose one or two only points only, one or two areas only. Otherwise, it becomes a massive. Now, once you get all these things, when you collect the related data, now we start analyzing. Now we are going to craft the papers because this is the next level. So what you have to do, you have to organize your findings, what you identify, recommendations into a well-structured paper. Hope this is your target, isn't it? Are you clear? This is the ultimate aim because of fintech and banking institution, how it is going to catalyze business when you have even constraints. Many constraints are there because, to predict business is difficult. When you start a new business, getting into the market is also a big problem. Promoting a business and reaching customers is a problem. Maintaining customer, that is customer retention, is a problem. So for all these things, now your research will give insights to such kind of investors or entrepreneurs who want to start their business or you want to scale up their existing business using banking and financial institution, isn't it? That is one findings you can develop. So when you fold all these things using the following things. So here, these are more important. Now you have a basic question which I call as a research question. What is the research question? How these banking and fintechs can improve even when you have constraints to improvise and catalyze your business? That is the question, isn't it? So there are many dependent, independent factors which we call as variables, and how we are going to analyze the performance of the business and how we do this based on such businesses. We take either one business or a set of one or two businesses and try to get data from the people related to their business, the institutional people, the people who work with them, customers who come there, the banks who finance the place, and regulators who get tax from there, and other all these people. So we get data from different levels of the business or the stakeholders of business, from regulators to investors to people who support and the customers. So from all these levels, we have to collect data. And once you collect data, then it gives you, and when you interpret it and put it appropriately where people can read, your reader can read and understand, it becomes a proper research. This is the basic thing. So for that, you need to understand a lot of things, which we call as understanding the knowledge related to business. How fintechs, how banks work in a particular area, what are the regulations, and what kind of business mostly approach for this kind of business. We cannot find a small shopkeeper going to a bank for such a big investment unless and until they don't want to scale it. Even banks will not be ready to invest for them because they don't have a business background, isn't it? No, so simply if I say I go to a bank and say that I need to start a supermarket, they'll show me what is your company. Do you have do you have legal compliance, whether your company is registered? Do you have existing source of fund? Are you ready to invest someone? What is your financial backup? Does your company have 3 years? At least minimum they ask, does your company have 3 years of financial documents? Isn't it? So without that, nobody wants to invest. We are not going to talk about small things. So based on these things, we are going to put our conclusions and recommendations. But this is one step. Again, we refine, we review and revise it again and again. So what is reviewing and revising? Because when I talk to you next time in my meeting, you will understand more things. Why? Because for me, this topic is new. What I was able to get on a quick span of time, I try to represent it based on my research experience. But when we come next time, you will also add more experience. So when you've done that research, still you find there is scope of getting more clarity, more coherence, and more accuracy on your work. Then we seek feedback from peers, mentors, and subject experts, isn't it? So what we can do, we can improve the overall quality of the work what you do. Are you clear?
Yes.
So then we can think of publishing. Now, when we think of publishing, there are many journals which are Scopus indexed. When you go to high index journals, first you should have a good author index. Because even your paper is so competitive, it is not necessary that the journal should accept your paper. So, because you might have produced good number of Scopus journals. The second thing, every journal will not accept your paper. You have to identify journals in which this kind of papers are received, isn't it? And you should have some patience to wait for these things. And if you reject your paper, they will mention what are the reasons. So depending upon that, they have different formats, they have different citation formats. But before that, understanding the basic concepts of what you're looking for is the first thing. Then we can start publishing and sharing. So initially, what I want to tell you, refining your title, understanding the variables, and gaining knowledge, which we call as review literature on research, is most important. So once you do this one, finally, when you share your paper, it is going to help many people like this one. It is going to help with industry stakeholders, policy makers, academicians, practitioners, banking institutions, and a lot of fintech people, isn't it? So I understand this research is a good research, but it is very wide. So we have to narrow down. We have to narrow down. We have to identify key elements. This is first part. But I don't want to tell you if it is a PhD research, I'll say you should have a conceptual framework. You should have some theory, because almost it comes with theories of economics. You can find some theories of economics or a set of theories of more than a number of economic theories that can put you to a conceptual framework to identify variables. So then you can set your hypothesis. Before that, you can have objectives. I know you have some objectives. So you have to identify the objectives and aim of your study. You may, since it is a research publication, if you want, you can put one or two or three hypotheses, isn't it? So now you try to prove your hypothesis, either to accept or reject your hypothesis, accept your hypothesis, or accept null hypothesis. So H1 and H0. So all these things we can do in the later stages. So I just want to tell you, as in the preliminary stage, this is a good topic. But now it looks very wide. We have to specify. We have to specify. You have to specify the kind of business. You have to specify the kind of constraints. You have to see what kind of catalysis you expect, and what kind of business maximization expecting from this one, isn't it? So we'll get an area to work with. Otherwise, you talk about education from kindergarten to postdoctoral. No, it is very difficult. It's a big one. So if we have to focus ourselves on a small area. So this is the preliminary meeting which I wish to do with you. But now the time open for your discussions and Q&A.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time and your guidance. Two things. The first one is that after graduating my master's at ISBAT, I had presented a paper in one of the conferences, but I don't think it was published, but I presented it in one of the conferences. It was to deal with big data. Dr. Vivek was my supervisor at that time. So I thought of doing a research paper, with the aim. I know the title may have made it big, but the focus was on the structure of financial institutions. Yes. Now, the structure is, I've worked in a public institution and also a bank. My experience in the bank, because of the compliance function within which I was in, forensics, fraud, and all, where I was focusing on, I realized that the structure makes certain people seem support staff. Those people are legal, compliance, risk, audit, and finance. The business people are the core. So, but in looking at these people as merely support staff, that they were also not, some of them, some institutions were not understanding how to leverage these support staff, these IT people. Because yes, while IT was producing a product that helped, let's say, mobile banking, internet banking, that because of the culture, they seem to also now believe in themselves as support. Yet the mindset in which I'm looking at is that if organizations fine-tune these so-called support structures, support functions, and synergize them into understanding and appreciating the business, that even the IT personnel who is working, he is looking at all his work and saying, whatever I'm doing, how is it creating value and increasing profitability for my organization? Because I now understand how my skill set as an IT person synergize with the business function.
Yes.
Yes. Now, that is where the angle I was looking at, that how do organizations, how can they have these support functions? How a compliance function or an auditor who, while auditing, also understands that their work will end up being profitable if I do this ABCD, not just doing my work and going away and receiving a salary. But how, if that kind of culture, that business structure or mentorship, whatever it is, that the business structure gels everyone to understand the business aspect of whatever they're doing, it will probably spur profitability because it has everybody knowing that whatever I'm doing will generate or at least reduce wastage, hence also increasing the bottom line of the. Yes. So that was the angle in which I was looking at it. Yes.
No. These are two dimensions. What I explained you based on your title was something different. I was telling how these financial and fintech institutions, their support to business is going to catalyze the business. That is a different sphere. And what you're telling now, that is a different sphere, where each member of the institution feels the ownership of the business. Suppose you have 100 people working, and if you believe that each one of the team feels the ownership of the business, then you can see the synergy. So, the research is what we are describing, it is in two different spheres. One, we talk about the team synergy. The other, we are talking about the business synergy because of the investment by fintech and finance. So we have to separate. So that's what. Now, when you make a research, you have to think of the research question what in your mind. Now, I hope you are getting more clarity. You are getting more clarity. This is the good thing with what this meeting and what this discussion. So you have the full freedom to formulate your research from your title to the end. But before that, I always say, start with a question. Isn't it? You told, if everyone has that ownership mindset, every employee, every member has an ownership holding. Like if you look at his birth. Now, why I'm thinking, I own the place. I have the feeling of ownership because you are my alumni, but still I want that if you put papers, if you grow up, because you are my product, isn't it? And still I want to maintain that I'm not bothered about my time, anything. Because me, I have only one focus. This is called as ownership. So we can take in a different perspective this business. If you have a banking institution, and if every member of the banking institutions feels the ownership of the business, how it is going to catalyze is the business performance. That can be one research. And this research will be more based on organizational theories. Okay. The other one, what we discuss up to now, that talks about theories of economics and theories depending on finance and a lot of other intervening variables, how you improve your business. So these are two scenarios. So we have to understand what is in our mind and how we are depicting as a research, isn't it? Now I discuss two kind of research. So one related to organizational theories, the other one organizational psychology, the other one purely with business, intervening of financial transactions and other business operations and with intervening inputs, isn't it? So now you have two things with you. Now, based on your expertise, based on your access to data, based on your profession, you can choose which area you want to do. Anything that makes a research, anything will make a research, just because there will be always a question in you. You have many number of questions. Choose one question and go it in a systematic way using the research methodology. A research question has to be revised, improvised, going through scholastic studies, which we call as review of literature. So you want to study on that research question. Your question, why it is happening? Why that phenomenon is happening, isn't it? So you keep on studying, refer articles, videos, newspapers. You try to refer. So you gain knowledge and you may think, oh, my question is wrong. Or you have to reframe your question. Your question gives you a lot of insights, isn't it? Now, from that, your research starts with. So every research starts with one question or a number of questions. But don't ask too many questions, because then you will not be able to catch up. Suppose if you want to get onto a building and if you have too many kind of ladders, you will get confused. It is better to go with one ladder, use the scaffolding, scale up your knowledge, and get into your research and go set. So make sure these all things will help you to familiarize, to get accustomed to appropriate research designs, research models, and how to do research, how to collect data, how to do data analysis, and how to interpret. So these are some basic experience. This will leverage your way to your PhD.
Okay, thank you.
And public.
The second one,
Mhm.
I was hoping that I would probably get a co-author
Mhm.
so that it becomes easy, seeing as, like you said, there are so many things to learn and so many things to do, especially if the paper is to be published. But if I'm able to get a co-author from expert who has already done it, maybe the time it will be shorter to have a quality published paper. So that was also the other request that I thought, wondering whether there would be somebody, in ISBA that would be willing to co-author with me. And in that, it will also become an easier path to have this kind of paper out.
Okay, now I'll tell you. No, this is not necessary that. No, when you look at a co-author, you have two things in your mind. One thing, your paper should get significant impact when you submit to a journal. Apart from that, the capacity of the author and experience of the author delivering such publication should be known, and the author index of the co-author should be also high. So then only the acceptance of the paper will be better. So what you have to do, now you have a research sphere, start networking. There is a forum called as Quora. And you can see many research forums. I think I can share you. Let me share my screen. And let me share my screen. I'm sharing my screen. Let me try to get into a forum. This is called as a Quora forum. Yeah? Can you see this one? This is Quora.
Yes,
www.quora.com. I used to write in this one. This is just one I made now. There is a question somebody asked me, can you make me a reaction paper about academic freeze? Definitely, I'm not going to make a paper for that person because I don't want to create any paper. So I mentioned, sorry, I cannot make one for you, but I will help you how to do it. Isn't it? Are you seeing this one? So there is a space. In Quora, there is a space for researchers. So in that, you can network with people in the similar field. So I was active in this one very recently because I don't have time. So you can see me, And if you look at my contents, in very short span of time, my contents have gone to a good amount just because of the reason people start following me and doing my content. So you have to find such a digital spaces. This can be called as a blog spot where people used to, you see my content status. So if you look at my content status, up to now, this is 4,309 views, isn't it? So there is one hub called as PhD Hub where I write with big professors also, because I put some post, they repost it, they approve my post. If it does have a quality, if it doesn't have a quality, they will remove also. So what I'm saying is that you can go to such kind of forums, as well as you can network with great professors within the region. You know, in Uganda, we have good professors who have with high author index. So if you're looking for a co-author, two things: you should have similar interest, you should have more expertise, you should have a high author index, isn't it? It's very difficult to get such people. But people like I'm more into writing books. Because me and as an academician, every people has different interests. So I am more into writing books and into research. So one of my books are published recently in Amazon, that is Elevate and Navigating PhD. So I'm writing such kind of books. But I help, right now we have 15 PhD scholars and I guide their micro research. I teach them entire research methodology. So they go with me as I take sessions and guide them. For the micro research, they'll be able to publish a research article. So they will go to the entire research methodology, practical application process. So you have to find an author. I always suggest that it's not necessary to focus on an institution, but you focus on a person.
Okay.
And you have to explore. Don't run very fast for this one. Me, I co-authored a book with one of the national award-winning journalists, a motivational book. But we are framing it. It takes time. So we need to have patience, and it cannot be cooked like a boiled egg or a poached egg. So that is important. Yeah, but the quality, when you have sessions like with me, it will enhance your research understanding process. But scholastically, you yourself have to do. And we as researchers, we have to compete with ourselves daily. With you, when I do a session, my competence increases because you are getting into a diversified subject, isn't it? If you don't approach me, I am not going to look into that much, isn't it? So research, publications, everything, it takes time. You cannot just do it. It's like when you have many authors with you, like it's producing a baby. To deliver a baby takes 9 months, and on average, if it is not premature, the child is not premature. But doesn't mean that we cannot allocate one lady, one month, and take 7 or 9 ladies together and produce a baby. It's very difficult. I don't know. It's going to happen in future, but now, research is a real birth process.
You're right.
It enhances. So maybe some people are so smart, they make quick research. I don't know. I'm talking about an average person like me. Now, people with high intellect have so many capacities, they can move fast. There's no problem. If you take an average person, it takes time. So that's more important. Better understanding of the research process. And when you have a question, you have to really fix that question to which domain of research. That should be backed up by review of literature. From that, you can understand which models, which theories comes in that, because theories are two kinds: grand theories. So these are the generalized theories. So you have to choose whether you have to use the grand theories or other kind of theories, which are complemented by different types of theories. Then from the theoretical framework, you have to fix them to your conceptual frame. So you will get the variables. As I told you, I defined you many variables when we are discussing. Now you start collecting data based on that variables. You have to prepare a survey, questionnaire. You can use observation as a method. You can use interview as a method. So many methods. You can collect primary data through your own process. You can collect secondary data from the different records of banking, financial, and business institutions. Now you organize the data based on your hypothesis. So you have to do testing of the hypothesis. And when you test an hypothesis, basically you have to find the alpha, p-value, z-value, t-value. Then based on that, you test the hypothesis. Either you go for your hypothesis or you go for your null hypothesis, isn't it? That is one part. Then other information is what you have received. You have to represent as a descriptive statistics using visualization, using statistical tools. Then you have to write from these things what you have understood. So me as a reader in the relevant field, okay, I get information. Maybe I get a scope for further research. For me as a policy maker, I will understand what all things has to be added, or it will be a learning for me. Me as a business person, I will say, okay, if I go to the bank, this is good things. Me as a banker, I know if I'm going to invest on a business enterprise, these all things I have to focus. Isn't it? So these all catalytic process, and if you work identifying this catalytic process in a researcher's perspective, using standard research methodology with standard research design and standard research process, it will definitely give an outcome.
Okay. Get it. Thank you.
Okay, so if you want to engage me further, please be in touch with me, or you start working on the paper in the way that you always feel free to contact me. You can share this video to your fellow members also who want to, because it's a generalized thing. Research is generalized. We focus on one topic, but any topic this can be discussed in the same perspective. And that is bad. Definitely, we are doing PhD. So when you have time, you can come and talk to our PhD scholars and you can understand the quality of PhD research, what we are offering, the program, what we are doing. So, people think that some people think that PhD is just for academicians. No. Anybody PhD is good. It will improve your capacity to see business and analyze business problems and delivering solutions for the problems in empirical methods. So empirical methods will have practical applications as well. So your performance will improve. Either you're doing your own business, or you do your consultancy, or you work in a senior position, or it will help you to elevate to the relevant field in which your business requires, isn't it?
Yes.
So if you don't have further questions, thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for the opportunity. Now you let uplift your research and the quantum of research mind in you. God bless you abundantly. Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Paul signing. Thank you very much.